I did it. I went down the rabbit hole again. What's in this box is very exciting. Oh my god. I didn't think it would be so big. I've been so excited to get my hands on this. I've been down a rabbit hole for weeks. Oh my god. It's much bigger than I thought. It's in such good condition. Hopefully it all works. Oh my god, let's get it out. So this is the Tascam 488 Mark II. It's a 8-track cassette recorder because, you know, obsolete technology is where I'm enjoying going right now for some reason. I've been so down the rabbit hole of analog recording recently, and I've just been patiently waiting for this to come up on eBay, and one came up. It seems like it's a good deal and it's all working condition, so let's check it out. But first, there's a huge thing that's just ruining this setup right now. And that thing is this screen. We're going fully 90s with this. I want no distractions, no screens. We're just going to be using this beautiful Tascam 488. So let's get this removed. Oh my god. This is super intimidating to that as someone who's like digitally recorded their whole life. This is it. What more do we need? So that's all set up. This is very scary to look at, like no screen in front of me, just literally the wall, which I kind of like. I'm not sure if I'll like it once I start, but we'll find out. But this is it. This is the whole studio. There's no DAW needed. That's essentially this section, which is like the recorder. And then we just have a mixer for each channel and what do we have? But yeah, let's plug this in and see if it works. Oh, that's a satisfying button. Oh my god, that's cool. It comes up saying Tascam in the most 90s font ever. Oh, this is awesome. So let's get this thing outputting sound and see if it all works. Okay, so there's a phone's output on the front, which is great. So it is RCA output on this as well, because it's, you know, old school outputs. Excuse the mess in the background too. I was so excited to just jump into this. Do a little test. Where is my input? Where's my jack? Hello? See if we're actually getting signal come through to this thing. I think you have to assign... Okay, I'm seeing signal on the actual little mixer section. So as a little workaround, as I don't have the right cables right now, I've actually ran the monitor outputs into the inputs on the Tascam and then set up a track in Logic with that input. So now I'm going through Logic and then into the speakers. A benefit of this setup is that you could run something like Sonarworks Sound ID or Reference, whichever one it's called, and actually have it run through the calibrated speakers for the room, which is like a nice way to do the sort of analog digital hybrid and have some of the benefits from digital in the analog recording workflow. The eBay listing mentioned that the phantom power may or may not be working because the what do you call it? Because the switch is snapped off. That's right. That's what I meant. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Oh shit. Oh, it works. 1 2. Hello 1 2. This is great. So now I need to figure out how to record. I wanted to keep this video simple and just try and do an acoustic track with vocals and then try and get some effects in there as well for the mix afterwards. I didn't want to go too ambitious for the first one, but I've got a bunch of ideas for this. Oh, I almost forgot. So I managed to get these TDK seeding 2. It's so cool to see these old school graphics on here. But yeah, we're going to put this in and see if it works and then try and do some recording. I can't, mate, this thing is like sealed to perfection. Oh my god. In my research I found that it needs to be a type 2 tape because it's higher bias or something, I think. But apparently these are better for 8-track, so... I think that... it should push to open. Ah, there we go. Okay, I'll find the knack. I'm sure there's like a way that it's gonna work. Oh, there we go. And it's in there forever. It's never coming out. I want to go straight in with this and try and do a 2-input recording. I want to use 2 microphones on the acoustic to get the bridge and neck blend. I've actually just realised I don't actually have 2 mic stands in this space right now, so we're going to have to rig something up. Maybe just put it on a book on the table or something. This is true home analog recording right here. I need to get this mic set up. I'm just going to literally put it on. Oh my god, that's perfect. I put it on the Bible. If you know, you know. Rick Rubin is an absolute genius. And today is actually helping me with the session. So this is produced by Rick Rubin. So that's roughly where I want it. The length and height makes a great mic stand. I'm going to be recording a song off my upcoming album, which I actually haven't announced yet. So I guess it will be announced right now in this video. But yeah, it'll be a little sneak peek, I guess. It's the outro track. It's sort of meant to be a little rough around the edges. I'm not sure if I'll be using this version, but maybe I will. I thought it'd be a nice song to get in one take, because I can't like re-record over myself, and I think I can punch in technically, but I'm gonna leave it for this video as I just get used to the basics. It's gonna have to be one good take, hopefully. I need to arm my tracks first, so it'll be 1 and 2. This is hard. So I can see my levels coming through on here. That's number 2 all the way down, but it's still sending the signal to both. What have I done wrong? I just figured it out. I completely forgot that you have to pan left and right for the odd and even numbers. I basically got my 2 channels assigned to 1 and 2, or left and right, and then I've got, and I'll give you an example. So this mic is in input 1. I'm just going to scratch it so you can see the level coming up here. So as it is now, you can see it's on both channels 1 and 2, but if I pan to the left it just goes to channel 1, and if I go to the right it's just on channel 2. So that's the thing. I think it's the way the tape head's split into 4, and that's the way it does it. Some magic stuff. I don't really get it, but I think we're ready to record. The thing with tape as well, it looks like it's clipping, but like that's where the tape saturation comes from. I'm not actually sure how hot to send the signal into this. Okay, so the fader affects the level as well. The whole routing thing's quite a lot to get my head around, because I think everything affects the actual record level. So you have like the trim, the faders that affect it, and then this master fader affects it too by the looks of it. Okay, have a tune, and then I'm gonna go for the first ever take on tape from me. That is, not ever. I think people have done that before. And then do I just press record? Or do I press play and record? I'm gonna just go with the record and see what happens. I think we're all good. It feels really nerve-wracking. Okay, let's do this. Oh my god. Okay, and then after 5 seconds. I didn't like it. Okay, we'll stop recording. Okay, stop. Is it? Okay, I think the button's a bit weird. I just recorded my first take and messed it up. RTZ means return to 0 from my research. So, yeah, you can see it's rewinding. Oh my god, this is so good. And I guess we can play that back and hear it. Let's do that. Okay, I'm not hearing anything. That's not good. Oh, it's the mix. Okay. Oh my god, that's crazy to hear. It sounds great. I love the level and everything. It's going quite hot, as you can see on there, on these louder parts, but I think that might have a nice effect if we do get a little bit of that natural saturation in there. Okay, I guess we just return to 0 and then record over it. I'm really liking this so far, even after one take. Oh my god. Okay, I think I just got a take that I like. That's the guitar all recorded, so now I need to figure out how to route input 1 to track 3 to record vocals, because I want to use the same mic as the bridge of the guitar. This is very confusing to get your head around. Okay, so I think I've figured it out after a little bit of, well, a lot of Googling. What I had to do was set input 1 to mic line, and then assign it to track 3 and 4. As you can see on here, if I arm tracks 3 and 4 to record, you can see that this pan now acts the same as it was for tracks 1 and 2. You can see on the little mixer there how if I pan left and right it goes to 1 and 2, but if I'm assigned to track 3 and 4 it does the same but on tracks 3 and 4. We did it. So yeah, now I can record vocals with this mic from input 1 to track 3, which is amazing. Okay, so I just set up the mic. Need to get my levels set. Again, it's like I'm learning as I go with this, because with digital you don't want to clip at all because it sounds terrible. But with analog, it's actually kind of nice to clip sometimes because you get, like, you know, the natural saturation that happens and stuff. So I think I'm going to experiment with this. I might send it in a little hot and just see if it is a nice smooth saturation or not. I'm kind of trying to set the level so it peaks into the red only on the louder parts, because then I feel like it will go with the emotion of it and push, you know, the emotion. Let's try recording. So I've got these 2 set to tape. 1 track armed, just track 3. Hopefully we don't lose anything, but we could. So let's figure this out. Okay, I can hear myself now. Caught in a wave. Okay, I think we're ready to go for this. I've actually switch my monitor into mono because it's actually just in one ear because of the pan to the left. I'm not sure if it's meant to be like that or if I'm just silly. It's a lot of confusing buttons. Let's try and record some vocals. Acting like the only one who's ever gone and seen the sun. Forgot what button to press at the end there. Let's have a listen. I like how fast it rewinds. I expect it to take a lot longer than that for some reason. So I have to, for mixing and playback, put it to multi-mix on all the channels and then assign all of them to the master as well, which actually makes a lot of sense. It's just remembering what to assign things to when recording versus mixing and playing back. It's going to take a little to get my head around, but we're getting there. We have guitar on 1 and 2 and vocal on 3. Nothing got overwritten, which is amazing. So there's our guitar. And there's the vocal. And now we can like EQ this all individually, which is amazing as well. Yeah, this is so fun. It's so fun that this is just playing off this tape now. I almost keep forgetting, like, the sound quality is a lot better than I actually thought it was going to be. Especially with how 8 tracks have fit onto such a thin tape. It's really good. And I'm just getting started and probably doing everything wrong. We've got guitar on 1 and 2, and then vocal on number 3. I think the next thing to do would be to try and add some effects through, like, an effect send into this. Because we have 2 effect sends, so we could bring in some, like, reverb or, you know, delay or something like that. But I'm going to do that tomorrow because I've got some cables coming to patch everything together and actually get a stereo mix, because I'm mixing in mono at the moment because it's going through just one input because I don't have the right cables. So I'll be back tomorrow. It's the next day. I have some cables now so we can get stereo output and also patch some effects in as well. So let's connect all this together. Okay, so if I've got everything set up right, you should also be getting a stereo image when I press this button. 3, 2, 1. Is that right? It is for me. And it feels amazing. Also, I put some bass on this yesterday as well, so I'll just show you a little bit of that. I was actually going to add some cajon to this as well, so there's a bit of a backbeat going. And I've found that tracks 4, 6, 7 and 8 don't actually record onto the tracks. It might be a return job, unfortunately, but I mean, at least I got this video out of it. But I'll definitely be getting something else if that is the case, but it might just be a case of getting it serviced, or me just being silly, so I guess we'll find out. Now I have guitar on 1 and 2, vocal on 3, and then bass on 5 because that was the only other track that I had. I want to keep it simple for this video and actually try out some effects and see if that's working as well on this unit. So what I'm going to be attempting to do is using my Helix Stomp XL, which is primarily a guitar pedal, but it obviously runs effects. So what I'm going to do is try and run out of the effect sends on the Tascam into this, and then back out of this into the effects return, I think. Another thing that we should be able to do is send this out stereo, so I'm just going to try that real quick. We use the inputs that I was using before, but now come out the back of the Helix in stereo. So now I should have a stereo reverb coming through the effect send, which is plugged into channel 9 and 10, which is the effect send, I think. But this should work. Or not. So what have I done? Okay, so it's just the reverb on its own. So we're getting a stereo reverb. Yeah, it's so cool, like having it. I feel like I'm shouting. It's so cool. Just having all of this set up in such a simple way is so fun. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's amazing, and it also makes me commit to just using this. I think what I'm going to do for the actual mix down, because we're finally getting to that point of it. For this video, I'm going to stick with this simple stereo reverb for the mix down. But yeah, I think we're ready to do it. So when it comes to analog mixing, basically I've got a mix live. If I want to do like any automations and stuff like that, like turn the vocal up and down, or I need to do all that stuff while it's recording, in this case to my laptop, which will be like the stereo master file. I'm going to get the reverb dialed in how I want it, and then do a few passes of the mix, and let's see how it goes. I'll never get bored of hearing that rewind. This is incredible. So I'm going to get my levels set and start to just do a little bit of a mix and add some reverb in. I don't mind. Entrapment feels so good sometimes. Oh, it's always the same. I'm caught in a wave. Lethargic ain't the half of it. It always seems to end. I'm happy with those like rough levels. Oh my god, it feels so good to be like physically mixing with faders. I've tried different digital control surfaces and stuff like that, and heard from friends who have as well. And there's something about the tactile feel that is like missing, I feel, from like digital controllers. Like when you turn to like pan or EQ, it feels like there's like a delay in, it's not as tactile. But this, as soon as I turn one of the EQ knobs, it's happening in the exact real time, and it feels so tactile and nice. It's incredible. I'm really liking it so far. And the sound quality is sounding pretty damn good. I didn't know if it was going to be like really saturated and really lo-fi sounding, but so far it just sounds like any other recording that I'd do, just with a little bit more sort of flavour in there, like right off the bat. So now I'm going to add some of the stereo reverb in, and once I've got a rough level that I like, I'm going to try and do a mix down, which I'm a little bit scared of, but we're going to do a mix down into the laptop, so I'll just have one stereo file of this mix. Let's get the reverb dialed in. We're breaking through, now look at you. Acting like the go back to the beginning in this beautiful way. There's no clicking around with tape. You just have to commit to going all the way back. One thing I want to quickly try is adding different effects onto the stomp, which is something I'm going to go into in more detail, and even use effects in Logic, because there's so much that can be done with this. So we'll try a delay. So this should be delay now. I don't mind. Yeah, there it is. Oh, this is so cool. There's like endless things to do. Okay, we're keeping it simple. We're going back to the reverb. Sure has the damn light turned off. This is going to be the most inconsistently lit video ever. I apologise about that. I'm going to maybe change the level of the vocal and guitar as I go, because they fluctuate quite a lot. I've not figured out how to get compression into this thing yet, so for now it's going to be a manual compression with my hand. Let's see how this goes. So what you'll be hearing is the output from this, so playing off the tape, going into my interface here, and then into Logic, so you're hearing the full mix down. I don't mind. Do you? I don't mind. We're breaking through. And I swore I'd never go outside. And trapping feels so good sometimes. Oh, it's always the same. I'm caught in a wave. Lethargic ain't the half of it. It always seems to end the same way. I don't mind. Do you? I don't mind. We're breaking through. Now look at you, acting like the only one who's ever gone and seen the sun. I think that was it. I think that was my first ever analog mix, which felt scary for some reason. So I was riding the fader on the vocal, because I knew like there was that loud section in the middle, and I didn't want it to just overpower everything. I was like increasing the reverb and stuff like that. It's just a style of mixing that I wouldn't really do if I was digitally automating in something like Logic or Pro Tools, because it just takes that bit more effort to like plan it out and click the regions you want and then raise and lower it. Whereas on here it's literally as easy as just turning a knob. It's that tactile. I've always been like a firm believer that limitations inspire creativity, and I think this whole thing was the perfect practice of that quote in general. I've been staring at a wall as I've been doing this, which is in a weird way kind of great. It's been really nice to not have the screen and just to be purely focused on what's coming out of the speakers. I'm not mixing with my eyes. I've been limited to a 3-band EQ, which has been amazing to use, to be honest. It's felt really smooth. When you push the low end, it sort of gets really distorted in a nice way. I quickly sort of went in and got an EQ that was sounding nice, added the reverb, literally 2 parts of a mix, well 3 including the level. Obviously it depends on the type of song, but for this one I think that has worked really well. But yeah, that was my first mix. Thank you for tuning in to Some Guy Figures Out a Tape Machine in 2023. I've got so many more ideas to make this a digital / analog sort of hybrid setup, but I need to figure that out, and also figure out how compression would work with this, so we can get really big punchy sounding mixes, but in a way that's more tactile, no screens, and just enjoyable, and it's fun to try new things out, or new old things. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.